James, introduce
Yes.
yourself. And you're a regular already on Working Lunch, but it would be really great. And also you've been on Zoom as well. So just give everybody a bit of an update of who you are and what you do.
Well, thank you very much for having me on. Firstly, it's very, very good of you, very kind of you. So I am James Munro. I have co-owned ABL, a specialist language contingency recruitment business. For 28 years we've been going for now, and we specialise in, as the name suggests, providing linguists to multi-sectors, predominantly medium to large international organisations who benefit from staff with languages. The staffing areas that we provide fall into three categories: sales and marketing, finance and support. So yeah, that's our business.
So we're going to talk today about the general kind of space that you're in, and also how you're finding things. We touched on a little bit around the whole sort of meetings and kind of getting back to business, whatever that looks like.
Yes.
The normal, yes. The new normal. I'm also wondering as well if we can talk about what you think would be the kind of way in which language translation, maybe finding, I suppose, candidates with specific language capabilities, now that we're in this sort of very, almost feels like a bit of a flat landscape where the world has become flat and we can kind of almost dial into people and talent no matter where they are.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe logistics of hiring is something that we can touch on today as well. Anybody else got any suggestions or questions that they'd like to pose for James? Also put them in the chat or put your hand up and we can bring you in. Give us a little bit of a sort of where's the business at right now? Where's your thoughts? What's your sort of opinion of the world?
Well, unsurprisingly, it's obviously very tough. I mean, I think we need to first of all be very, very realistic about what we're faced with. In general terms, there are, as of yesterday, 8.4 million people on the furlough scheme. That was an increase of 400,000 just on the previous week. Now, things are going to start playing out when the furlough scheme starts getting watered down from 1st of August initially, because obviously companies will have to pay a certain amount towards 20%. Has been touted around. We're waiting for the Chancellor to give his update on that this week. So that's going to be the first sort of touch point, the first pressure point. And then secondly, obviously, towards the end of October, when the furlough scheme is due to be wound down completely. So we do need, I think, as business owners, to be very realistic about what's facing us. We have never, ever faced this challenge before. I mean, certainly in my time, and I don't think historically in the recruitment sector before. And previously, we've been able to counteract downturns by more forward planning and more warning. I mean, we were having actually a very good quarter up until beginning mid-March. We'd got through, there was more clarity on Brexit. The general economy was in a good shape. So this has obviously hit us and all recruitment businesses very, very hard. So that's the bad stuff. The good stuff is, I don't think, and I would assume most business owners again would agree, that we've ever had the opportunity to completely reset our businesses and reboot our businesses in the general strategy, marketing strategies, really the full shebang. We get so embroiled in the day-to-day challenges of managing staff, of setting budgets, of setting targets, of speaking to clients, speaking to candidates, that we actually don't look at the big picture. And this is a unique opportunity to really do that. So that's the positive bit.
Brilliant. So let's just focus on the positive bit, because we can all kind of get dragged into the negative, and I kind
of course.
I'm much more of a half full kind of person. So to your point about being able to sort of reset and recalibrate, if you like, the business, and we talked a bit about that yesterday with Katrina. It's not just about ourselves, it's also about our business, and having that pause for thought and thinking, okay, where can I create more efficiencies? Where can I be more specific with my targeting? Where can I develop conversations that would lead to business, not necessarily straight away, but further down the line? Where are you starting? I know obviously it's tough for you right now, and you know, if we're too close to kind of, you know, the trade secrets, then we can definitely back off a bit. But I just think it's really interesting to kind of hear about what each of us are doing to kind of do those steps moving forward.
I think what's important for us is our marketing strategy now, how we continue to build really close relationships with clients, how we continue to add value to clients. You know, recruitment with, you know, it's obviously it's been highly competitive since the year dot. You've now got big in-house recruitment teams as well that you're competing against. So you have to add value. So it's going to become even more important to build that trust with your clients. You know, they'll want to know more than ever when we start to come out of this what the market is looking like. It obviously will be very candidate heavy. I do hope that clients take a more cerebral approach to hiring and not just tick boxes. And by that I mean there'll be an awful lot of very capable people without jobs who, just because they don't have exactly 5 years of digital marketing experience or whatever it happens to be, that they are not put in the mix. So, but I think that's up to us as recruiters to educate clients in that way. But it comes back to those relationships. It's you know, that's never been as important as that.
Are you going to definitely start then with your kind of current client list or clients that you've worked with historically? Because obviously there's that tendency, isn't there, with any kind of restart to kind of really look and go, oh, there's a market opportunity, let's go and try that kind of new green pasture. When actually, I think a lot of the time, especially in businesses that I've seen in the past, they've had that sort of momentarily pause, but they kind of forget the clients that they've worked with historically and those relationships that are already in play. It takes absolutely, you know, it takes less effort and cost a lot of the time to reignite those relationships than it does to move forward.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I think there are two basic strategies here. 100% engage with those people that you have already and hopefully will continue to do business with. You know, that is absolutely vital. But number two, I do think you have to be more strategic about it. I mean, clearly, post coronavirus, COVID, whatever you want to call it, there will be some sectors who simply won't be recruiting for a long period of time, travel, transport, etc. And there will be sectors such as tech, e-commerce, pharma, who will be recruiting more. I mean, that's, you know, anyone who reads the newspapers or has a good sort of commercial sense. So yes, you do absolutely have to engage with current and existing relationships and build those even stronger. But I think you do have to take a more strategic approach to it, most definitely.
Yeah, and then I suppose if we're kind of qualifying out the strategic view, that is very much like the helicopter view of looking at maybe internally in terms of a SWOT analysis, but also as well looking at the marketplace in a much more sort of holistic way.
Yeah.
Do you have any of those sort of programs in play at the moment? Have you done any kind of business analysis over the marketplace? Is there any areas that are looking really good for you coming through?
Well, I think those ones that I've just mentioned, I mean, particularly tech, obviously, and you know, my own tech skills were pretty poor pre-lockdown. I mean, they've improved, hopefully, leaps and bounds since lockdown. So I do think that'll be one of the big areas. and anything tech related, obviously e-commerce I mentioned before. So if perhaps you had relationships with existing clients who are now going to be moving their business into the e-commerce sector or offering any tech related future solution, that's the area that you want to be speaking to them about, and discussing it and helping them and share ideas on that. And not, that goes back to that extra offering, not just simply being there as, waiting for the next vacancy to put your shortlist together. Discuss things with clients. We're all going to be feeling our way out of this horrendous crisis, which dear God won't rear its ugly head again. So we've got to look after each other and offer that sound sort of commercial sense and share commercial instincts and experiences, and build those partnerships. That's what it's all about.
David's just asked a question in the chat bar there. I don't know if you can see that, but he's asking if do you see the number of office-based vacancies picking up before offices can properly go back to work? What do you think?
Not at the moment, no, to be perfectly honest. I do think the traditional office-based jobs, I'm talking EAs, PAs, team secretaries, receptionists, I think inevitably they will be hit. However, as businesses return to work and return to offices, you will need people to help with configuring offices to maintain social distancing, for instance. So maybe when they come back, those office support roles, they won't be traditional office support roles. They'll need to be tweaked, and it will need to be people who can adapt as well.
So talking of adapting, we've got a guest on next week who's a family friend of mine, and he's basically pivoted his internal, their office architecture company, and they've actually pivoted really, really brilliantly into creating modular systems to help the spacing and the flow of an office environment with the restrictions. So that's going to be an interesting chat as well. I think that's going to be really
absolutely
impactful in terms of city-based offices as well, not just obviously London.
No. Well, I was talking to a guy last week about the London commercial property market. He's head of the Canary Wharf division of a very big, well-known commercial property business. And I was saying, gosh, you must be really struggling and fearing the worst about what's going to come, because obviously everyone's now had this taste of remote working and work lifestyle balance and not having to commute and all this sort of business, and you've got people like the boss of Barclays said the other day that the days of putting 7,000 employees in one building are probably drawing to an end. But his take was actually very interesting. He said, well, yes, you're quite right in general terms, but actually companies now will need double the space for the same amount of people with the social distancing measures. So, there are always obviously different ways to look at things. But adaptability is going to be key for any business.
Yeah, I wouldn't have necessarily thought of that, but of course you're absolutely right. If you think of maybe a company with 100 staff, they still need to figure out if they do want 100 staff or need 100 staff to be in an office environment, they are going to have to grow that space that they've got. Or there's going to be that sort of proportion of people that are permanently not able to be in an office, or maybe it's on rotation, and that in itself is even more difficult logistically to work out.
Absolutely. I think I think we'll find a balance between the remote working and the being physically in an office, because, and I mean, this is my personal view, that however great the technology is, and it's touching on the point we made earlier, you still miss that human interaction. And I mean, there are very few people I know who, even with their own businesses and one-man band businesses, who don't go out for meetings. I mean, it's virtually impossible not to do that. So I do think there'll be a balance. And I've read a lot recently about businesses having this A and B team. So team A will work maybe 4 days a week, 1 week. Team B will do the 4 days the following week, and they'll rotate on that sort of basis. But yeah, you'll still need the space But the market, the market will react to that, and it will come through it.